we have Mr. Karanjawala joining us now. And sir, what do you think of the Supreme Court decision that has come out with a committee to probe the allegations against the Adani Group?
I think it's an excellent decision. And the reason why I say it is that this committee will meet all the standards that any committee could have met. This is, as you know, something which is being looked at both internationally and nationally. And what this committee does is it has people on its withstanding with very high international credentials. For example, as out of the committee, you have Nandan Nilekani, who's internationally well known. I don't need to elaborate that point. You have K.V. Kamath, chairman of the BRICS Bank, after ICICI chairmanship. I don't need to illustrate how well known he is internationally. And Mr. Om Prakash Bhatt, again, chairman of SBI, and now on several international boards like Tata Steel, Tata Motors, TCS, well known internationally in many circles, in business circles, etc. Also, you have judges who have been very carefully chosen. For example, you have Justice J.P. Devdar, who also was, apart from being a judge of the High Court, was the presiding officer of the Securities Appellate Tribunal. In addition, you have Justice Sapre, who had the unique distinction of being a judge with a huge experience because he was a High Court judge in 3 separate High Courts. He was the Chief Justice of 2 High Courts, then came to the Supreme Court. So you have a committee which is overall, you couldn't have chosen a better committee if anyone had chosen to choose it.
Right. So it has a mix of all technical experts and legal experts also.
Also, the Supreme Court has very carefully constructed the remit of the committee and what is to be done. SEBI had gone before the Supreme Court and said, look, we are already looking at investigation into all these various allegations. So it hasn't stopped SEBI. It said SEBI will continue its investigation, but will of course cooperate with the committee. As far as the remit of the committee is concerned, the Supreme Court has again very carefully said, you will provide an overall assessment of the situation, including the relevant causal factors. Then, how do you increase investor awareness? Then, whether there has been any regulatory failure, that also this committee will go into, and the alleged contravention of laws pertaining to the securities market in relation to the Adani Group, and several other points. So you will find that they have dealt with issues both at a micro and a macro level. SEBI goes into the micro level allegations against the Adani Group. Then it gives its report and it keeps the committee totally in the loop. The committee looks at everything overall and comes out with its suggestions, which it gives in a seal cover to the Supreme Court. So I think it's a very carefully crafted thing, and I think it should do good. It should also put, at least for the time being, a quietus to the general allegations which have been made all around. Right. One thing I must let you know in full disclosure is that I myself represent the Adani Group, not in this matter, but have been over the years. They've been clients of mine.
Right. And so while we also talk about the report that's going to be submitted, and as you said, it's going to be a sealed report. So for a layman, are they going to get to know what the committee comes up with? And is it going to be an action-oriented committee in terms of what they come up with? Are they going to then influence action maybe on SEBI, if at all some failures are found?
I certainly expect it to be an action-oriented committee because this is not the kind of committee that will not give its views in a forthright and hard-hitting manner. I certainly expect that at some stage the Supreme Court will at least let part of what is stated in the report be known to the public, especially the action, especially on parts in which they want action to be taken. So I feel that overall it will meet with the expectations of the world at large.
Right. So my last question to you, and this might be a little political, that the opposition is saying that there should be a JPC. So what is the difference between the ambit of the two? Do you think this can deep dive into the matters more technically?
I think at the moment what the Supreme Court has suggested should suffice to meet the needs of the hour. But, I mean, people can always ask for more, and they're entitled to.
Thanks very much, sir, for joining us and answering those questions. Thank you.